Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another in-depth first-person walk around here at Toyota Reviews. My name is Tyler behind the camera, and today we are looking at the 2021 Audi E-Tron and the Prestige trim level with the black optic package. Alright, so before we get into the details, I wanted to mention to you viewers that I am putting timestamps in the description box of the video, just highlighting different sections of the video, so details of the exterior, interior, under the hood, or under the trunk, I guess you could say, in this particular car, and so forth like that, just so you know where specific points in the video are. Since again, these videos do get kind of long, this one will probably be close to 40 minutes long because there's just so much things to talk about in this car. But enough of rambling on, let's take a look at the window sticker. So the way Audi sets their window stickers up, as you can see, right over here we have all of our standard equipment, and you could definitely pause the video while I'm scrolling to get more information. Most of the stuff we will cover in the video itself, and down here we have our parts content, as you can see. A very Polish car, so 31% of parts coming from Poland. And right here is the all-important options column. So that's what I really wanted to go through here in this part of the video. So we have a couple of notable options, one being the Prestige package, or I guess you could say is really a trim level. It's a $13,200 option, which gives you a huge list of features, and you can read all those features that are contained in that sort of package or trim level. We also have the digital matrix headlights, which has some really neat features, and we will get into that once we get into the details of the exterior. That's a $3,000 option, but again, really cool features, some things that I've never seen on any car before. We also have the black optic package, which comes with the exterior trim kit, all blacked out in high gloss black, and the addition of these beautiful 21-inch wheels. We have the E-Tron beam that comes is a sort of a projection light that goes underneath the doors. Kind of shows up at night really nice, and gives you a little E-Tron emblem on the floor. We have the privacy trunk color, interior protection kit, and USB cables, as well as the wheel lock kit, and a destination charge of $1,095. A total sticker price for this particular car, it is pretty much completely loaded up, of $87,530. We take a look over here, we have some shipping information and your crash test rating, so at least 4 or 5 stars in every category, and your quote-unquote fuel economy rating, which this car is obviously full electric, so it gives you kind of like a simulated fuel economy rating there. So moving to the side of the E-Tron, you can see that this has a very SUV look. They also make the E-Tron Sportback, which has a more of a coupe-like look, but this one is the full SUV version. And the wheelbase stands at 115.3 inches. We are working with the Navara Blue Metallic, which is a beautiful deep blue color, and it is one of 10 color options available for the E-Tron. So now that we're around back, we can give kind of like a little overview of the drivetrain. So as you know by watching this video, this car is fully electric. No gasoline motor is present in this car whatsoever. So there's basically 2 electric engines, one in the front that drives the 2 front wheels, one in the rear that drives the 2 rear wheels, thus making it all-wheel drive. So pretty cool there, and I'll give you a bunch of the power figures and whatnot when we get into the sort of engine bay, I guess you could say, and we'll give you all the power figures and whatnot in a screen. And if you're wondering about towing, yes, you can tow with the E-Tron up to 4,000 pounds. Alright, so details of the exterior on the 2021 Audi E-Tron. We're going to start off on the passenger side, where a new feature for 2021 is the addition of charging doors on both sides. So on the passenger side, you press the button, the charging door lowers, and you have an AC charger. Now to charge the car with the AC power, it'll take about 10.5 hours to 100%. And if we take a look on the driver's side, we have a charging port there as well that supports DC fast charging. So from 0 miles to about 80% of charge, it'll take about half an hour. So pretty cool that they give you chargers on both sides now. But back to the front and all the features on the front of the vehicle, we can see that this car has the black optic package. So the whole entire grille is no longer satin silver. It is a beautiful gloss black. You can see you have a front camera right below the Audi rings, the E-Tron stamped in the lower grille, and you also have parking sensors that go all the way around the front bumper. Pretty beautiful design for the front too, and there's a couple of things that I'd like to point out with these headlights. So this is a pretty expensive option. It's a $3,000 option for these lights. The first thing I'd like to show you is just the regular headlights on with the turn signals. You can see they have the sequential turn signals. Pretty neat. One more thing I'd like to show you is the welcoming lights. So you can see they give you a nice animation when you first unlock the vehicle. And the last thing, you also have a leaving function. So as you can see, when you lock the car up, or actually when you shut the car off, you can see a little projection with the E-Tron logo on the surface in front of you. So that is really cool. That's something I've never seen before in a headlight. So that's part of the reason why it is such a costly option, but very cool show-off feature there. And right below the headlamps themselves, you could see a little trapezoidal object. These will actually pop out as your headlight washers. So taking a look up at the hood, we have some pretty nice lines there, pretty nice long sweeping hood. 21-inch wheels as part of the black optic package. And the front tires measure 265/45. Very large brake rotors and equally large calipers, just massive. Really takes up quite a bit of the wheel. We also have adaptive air suspension on the Prestige, and it'll change ride heights due to what driving mode you're in. You can see our mirrors, and on the bottom we have the camera for the 360-degree view, and also the 3D view. If you turn around like this, you can see that the mirror also has LED turn signal indicators. And if you look on the inside of the mirror, you have a blind spot monitor. All 4 door handles are electronically actuated and have the smart key entry. You can see we have the black all the way around the windows and even on your roof rails. And below on the trim, you also have all body colored around the wheel arches and below the doors. Gives it a little bit more of a sleek look. And we have the same size tires and wheels back here as we do up front. We have a nice spoiler at the top of the deck lid, shark fin antenna, and panoramic sunroof. And so back here you do also have a couple of cool features with the rear lights. And first off, I'd like to show you just the regular lights on again with the turn signals going. You can see you have the dynamic turn signals again. And if we back up just a little bit, you can also see the welcoming lights too when you unlock the doors. Really cool animation they give you with the lights on this vehicle. And with a lot of new Audi products as well. If you take a look down below, we have parking sensors that span the rear bumper as well. Lots of high gloss black trim, again to do with the black optic package. The third wiper, the Audi rings, E-Tron badging, and you also have your rear view camera and your trunk release, and the Quattro badging. Alright, so let's pop the hood and see what it looks like under the hood of the E-Tron. So opening the hood on the E-Tron, I guess, is more of a traditional experience. Now in a lot of cars you do have some storage underneath the hood, and that is true with the E-Tron. It's just not all storage. You can actually see some of the electronical components. Here is actually the charger. There's a fast charger is in there. Close that and take a look around at some of the various components under the hood. So pretty cool to see that stuff. And there is a latch underneath the hood, and you just move over like so to open it up. So before we hop in the interior, there's a couple things I want to show you with the door handles and the door itself. You have the smart key entry for all 4 door handles, like I mentioned. And it's also an electronic release, so as you can see, it doesn't really take much effort, and the door kind of pops open for you. And this being the Prestige, it also has soft closing doors. But taking a look inside, we have the pearl beige interior, and you can choose between a black color, a beige color, or a brown color. And again, this being the Prestige, we have this beautiful Valcona leather interior. You have soft touch up here, these pretty neatly styled door handles. Again, take a listen. They are electronic. You have your door locks here. This beautiful beige colored suede with the metal accents. You see this little strip right here, that is a strip of ambient lighting. There's also another color you could choose of ambient lighting underneath here. So you can have this a different color than that color on your ambient lighting. Beautiful, extremely smooth leather on your door rests and your seats and in other various places. You have all of your controls over here for the child locks, the regular windows, and your mirrors, so you can see they are heated and power folding. We have 2-person memory seats for both the driver and passenger. And we also have the trunk release right in a little pocket. And this one does have the 16-speaker Bang & Olufsen 3D sound system, which is absolutely amazing. Taking a look at the left of the dash, we have a combination of open grain wood and a gloss black for your headlight controls. We also have quite a large storage pocket in here that will actually fit your owner's manuals. They aren't in there at the moment, but it swallows up pretty much half my arm, so it's quite a large storage container. We have the hood release and your pedals down there. And one more thing I'd like to point out at this angle, you have a little knob here for your power tilt telescoping steering wheel. And these seats. Very, very adjustable seats. You can see on our headrests, they move in and out, up and down. You have the drilled leather and stitching. Pretty cool design. And as far as our seat controls go, most of them are down here. However, some of them you have to get to in the screen, since it's just so many controls. They wanted to reduce the amount of buttons. So once we get into the infotainment screen, I will show you the rest of the adjustments. But for now, we have the regular up and down for both the front and the rear of the seat, the back and forth sliding, and the back and forth for the backrest. Then if you press this button here, it'll either pull up all the rest of the seat controls or your massage settings. And these 4 lumbar controls can also turn into multi-use controls, so they can either be used to adjust your side bolsters here, so you can hug them and tighten them, or they'll just be used for your lumbar. But for the next portion of the video, we'll hop in and start it up. So here's the key for the E-Tron. You have the lock, unlock, Trunk release and the Audi rings. On the other side, you have the E-Tron logo, the panic alarm, and this little button you could press, and the bottom of the key release into a physical key in case you need to use that. But to start the vehicle, you obviously have push button start. Put your finger right there and your foot on the brake, and I guess you could say it'll start right up. So the gauge cluster is all digital. We have the virtual cockpit like in a lot of Audis. And we'll go through some of the features using these buttons on the steering wheel. This is kind of like your basic setup. Gives you a power meter as well as how much battery charge you have and how much regen is going through the braking system, and then what gear you're in the center. Then you also have your speedometer. In the center is the more configurable part, and we can use the roller wheel right where my thumb is to scroll down and get some more information. So it'll give you the range, your consumption, I guess you could say, and the short and long-term memory, as well as driver's assistance screens. And then all of your traffic signs. We could also press view at any point, and your power meter and your speedometer will get kind of smaller, and then whatever's in the center will get larger. You can also scroll through to see your radio screen, your telephone, and your navigation. And you can see that the Google Maps is set up right now. You could zoom in, zoom out, and it all looks pretty realistic. You could also enter in your destinations through this screen too with the voice commands. And there's quite a bit you could do through this screen here. You know, change your radio station, look at all different all the settings here. But really nicely done, a very modern looking version of the virtual cockpit in the E-Tron. So taking a look up here, you have a couple of speakers, your heads-up display, as you can see on the snow pile. It'll show you different driver's assistance functions, your current speed and the speed limit on the current road. And the upper dash is pretty nice, so most of it is leather wrapped, as you can see, and stitched. And if we take a look down here, we have our MMI screen. So this is the screen you control your radio, your nav, everything like that. We also have a lower screen pretty much dedicated to the climate control. So this is pretty much your home screen here. You have a couple of different pages of different apps, and then you could also scroll over to see a jumbulation of sort of 3 of your most important ones. So you have your navigation running over here, see what your telephone is doing, and also see what your radio is doing simultaneously. That's a very nice feature. But we'll kind of just go into each menu here and we'll see what each one looks like. You could change the source up here and then scroll through your different radio stations or presets. You also have your media screen, which if you wanted to hook up your car through the Bluetooth and play songs, that's where you would go. You also have your Bluetooth or your telephone screen. Navigation is here. You can input your destinations right here. And this also turns into a keyboard down below, and you can also write things in. So if you wanted to go to 600,
600,
straight,
STRAITS,
turnpike,
TURNOIKE.
and if my handwriting was a little better, it'd pick it up a lot better than that. But you kind of get the idea of the navigation system. Very intuitive system with the writing and everything in the keyboard that kind of shows up down below. Really nice to see that. And you also have the phone apps, which has to do with the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You have your vehicle screen here, which will host all of your drive mode selects. So we have quite a few: an off-road, all-road mode, efficiency, comfort, automatic, dynamic, and individual. So if we click on the individual, we can see what we can customize: the drive feel, suspension feel, and steering feel. That's pretty cool. And we can also customize at what height you want your air suspension to be at. You have vehicle data here, range potential, so if you shut off your air conditioning, your steering wheel heating, and the seat heating, you will gain an additional 44 miles of range. Pretty cool to see that. You also have a charging screen here. We have the seat controls. This is what I was talking about earlier. The seats have actual more functions than there is buttons on the side of the seats. So we can actually use the screen to tighten or loosen the bolsters on both the top and the bottom. We could swipe over to our massage controls, so we could choose the intensity and the different I guess, settings of massage. And you could also go over here to do different seat positions and all that different stuff. So really cool seats to this car. We have lighting and visibility, which if we go in here, you can access your ambient lighting. They have different themes you could pick from, all your different brightnesses. And you can also customize an individual. So you have two different lights that you could pick, two different colors of lights you can pick from at one time. You have all of your different colors over here. So really cool ambient lighting system, and it gets pretty bright at nighttime. Right now you really can't see it. It kind of works with the automatic headlights. When the lights are on, when the exterior lights are on, the interior lights on, I should say. We have all of your settings over here, your general settings for the screen. You can adjust your gauge brightness over here and your heads-up display settings. You can also adjust the sound settings here with the treble, bass, all that good stuff. Actually, if you swipe down, it will get you to that screen as well. You have built-in Wi-Fi in this car if you are subscribed to Audi Connect. And scrolling over here is just a couple of other apps that you may or may not find useful, like the users, which is pretty cool. You can set up different users in this car. So say you or your wife was driving the car, you have your own settings in there, and when your wife gets in, she presses the user button, selects her name, and all of her settings are in the screen. That pretty much does it. I could go way more in depth with this screen, but we kind of want to keep this video on the short side. So at this point we can move to the lower screen, which again, like I said earlier, has most to do with the climate control. We have temperatures on either side. It is a 4-zone climate control, so you can control the front and the rear. You can press that button over there, and this will now turn into the rear climate control. So you can even turn the rear heated seats on if you'd like. From the front, you have your fan speed in the center, where the air comes out. And you have our heated seats, our cooled seats, AC settings. It also gives you a eco mode for the AC. And then all of your passenger stuff from recirculating and whatnot over there. If you press the 3 in the center, you can see this pops up on the top screen, which has to do with your heated steering wheel, the perfume scent that blows out of the air vents, which is kind of built in, which is really cool. You could switch to the rear climate control. You can also sync both. You can turn the air ionizer, the max AC, and all that good stuff. On the top, we have a couple of unrelated buttons to the climate control. We have a hill descent. We have a sort of customizable button, I guess you could say, where you can input things on the lower screen. We have our garage door openers right there, the information, or just to turn the heads-up display off, and to turn the upper screen off as well. There's a couple of buttons below the climate control screen with our quick drive mode select, traction control off. We also have our hazards right there, and front and rear defrost. Start stop button right here, and our camera button is right next to it. When we press that, the parking sensors are activated, and we can choose between all of our different camera views. So we press this little corner button here, right here, we see we have a wide angle front, a regular front view with their guidance lines, a top-down view, a rear view, a rear wide-angle view, the front and the rear tires. So very customizable camera system. You'll always have the top-down view sort of in the corner, and on a larger part you have a different bunch of different selections you could pick. But that's not it. We also have the 3D view. So we can actually drag all the way around the car. And that really helps out if there's something close to your wheel, you think you're going to run it over, or there's a curb or something like that. You can bring up the 3D view, and you could obviously see all the way around the car, which is just amazing. I don't know how they stitch all the camera views together to make that, but it certainly is amazing. Taking a look back down here, we have our driver's assistance function. So this is kind of like where I could display where or what kind of driver's assistance things that this car has. And they have 3 different settings for the driver's assistance screen. So we have a maximum, a basic, or an individual amount. So right here is where you can turn on and off all of your safety systems. You have front distance warning, pre-sense front crash detection. We have the side assist, which is Audi's version of the blind spot monitoring. You have the intersection assist, the lane exit warning, all that good stuff. You can individually turn it on and off in case one of them is bothering you, one of them is not. But taking a look down here, we have the gear selector, pretty futuristic looking, pretty much like this whole cabin. And the way it works is this top part right here is pretty much just a rest for your finger on the bottom of the screen. However, the only part that moves and the part that changes the gears is this little metal piece here. So if we move it up, that brings us into reverse. Obviously the reversing camera pops up. Down into drive, we have sort of a half a click up into neutral or down into neutral, depending on if you reverse in or drive. And we also have the P for park. We have electronic parking brake. When the red light is illuminated, it's active. Press down to deactivate, pick up to activate. And we kind of have like a hollow center console in here, which is pretty cool. We have a wireless phone charging pad, so if you stick your phone in sideways, there's a little clip. It'll clip right in, not move around, and also charge your phone. We also have a little storage console in here, and we can flip out the cup holders if you like. There's 2 of them. And if you want to put something bigger on the inside, you could get rid of the cup holders altogether. A nice center armrest we could fold up, and a little bit of storage. And there's also 2 USB-C charging outlets up here. I have a frameless rear view mirror with a compass. I also have a couple of controls and touch lighting for the upper center stack. You can turn all the lights on with this button, lights on when the doors open. We have some emergency SOS controls, and also your sunroof and sunshade controls. So you can see when the sunshade is closed, we have 100% of the light getting blocked. And when you open up the sunshade, it's not the biggest panoramic roof in the world, but it's definitely a lot larger than a single pane sunroof. And then this button up here, you can either tilt by pressing up like so, or open it by putting it back. Very high quality cloth headliner. So it's not doesn't have the microfiber headliner, but it's a very high quality cloth on the headliner. You also have these visors that you can fold down, and once you unlatch them, they do go back and forth to block sun on the side. And they also have a mirror with a light and a card holder, and grab handles for all 4 passengers. So at this point in the video, I've shown you pretty much all there is to see in the front cabin. And I'm going to adjust the driver's seat to a comfortable driving position for myself. I am 5'10", We'll check out the back seat, see how much room there is back there, and also what kind of amenities we're working with. In the back, you have a nice sized door, so pretty large. Same materials as up front, so soft touch up here and down here. You have the suede and the leather on the armrest. Ambient lighting pretty much everywhere on the door. You have your electronic door release, your window control, a couple of speakers on the door, and a sunshade. Very comfortable back seats. Gives you a pretty good amount of support on these sides, which is something that a lot of cars kind of lack in the back seats. So really, really comfortable. A little bit of lumbar support, although it's not adjustable. It feels really nice. You have storage packets on the back, and you also have a great amount of legroom back here. You have some climate vents on the back of the center console as well as on the B pillars. And you have a full climate control system back here as well, with your heated seats, your temperatures, your fan speed, and where you want the air to come out. It's a really customizable rear climate control. You have a couple of USB-C inlets, very small drivetrain hump, so you could definitely fit 3 people back here pretty comfortably. Really nice size SUV, so it's a little bit bigger than the Audi Q5 and a little bit smaller than the Q8. So it's a really, really good sized 2-row SUV. See, we have a nice overview of the front cabin. We have grab handles back here and some LED illumination. The panoramic sunroof doesn't come all the way back, but it definitely gives the rear a nice complement. We also have a rear armrest that folds down. As you can see, the cup holders hide away. You also have a little storage console in here. And if you fold that up, you can actually grab into the rear and fold down the middle ski hatch. And that gives you access to the trunk. That pretty much does it for the back. Again, very, very roomy back here. Pretty rich in features. And just a nice place to be, even in the back of the e-Tron. But next we'll check out the front passenger room and see what the glove box looks like. So the front passenger door is much like the driver's door, just a few less buttons, as you'd expect. Front passenger has the exact same amount of adjustability. I believe it's 18 ways of adjustability, including massage, as the driver does. Very nice to see the wood grain in the sun, rather. Very beautiful look to the wood, and there's actually 3 different wood grains you can get with the e-Tron, depending on your interior color choice. And you can see you have a lockable glove box. Very nice, good size, and it opens up down flat, so you kind of use this as a tray if you're eating some of your fast food or whatnot in the car. You have coin holders, pen holder, and again, just a really good amount of space, and it's illuminated in there. So the trunk lid is fully powered, as you'd expect on the e-Tron. And you have a pretty nice wide opening, lots of cargo space back here too. This car is not offered with a 3-row, which gives you quite a bit of extra more space behind the rear passengers. You have your typical cargo shade, which you can expend. You have grocery bag hangers and seat folders from the rear. So as you can see, you pull the handle and they'll fold right down. You also have these pretty cool LED light bars on either side to illuminate the trunk. You have some storage extensions with some net pockets to either side. some cargo anchors. We also have our carpeted and our all-weather floor mats back here. Little 12-volt power outlet on the passenger side. If we open up the cargo floor, we could see the spare tire and a little bit of a storage tray down there, and that actually is removable, so you could put whatever you want in there. You can use it as a cooler or whatever, and you could take it right out and empty it out, clean it out. We have yet another light to illuminate where you're going to be standing to get things out of the trunk, and a couple of buttons here, one to just close the trunk and one to close and lock the vehicle. So to end this video, I hope you have enjoyed the 2021 Audi E-Tron just as much as I have, and I hope you stay with us here at NNT Auto Reviews for future in-depth walk-around videos.